There is a celebration right now with Roger Goodell and his new friends in the mainstream media. Headline at the LA Times: 2026 Super Bowl featuring Bad Booger scores 125 million viewers. This is the second largest audience in history. Celebrate the butt bongo! Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes. Like we've talked about before, ratings are subjective. Whether ratings are perceived as good or bad really depends on what we're talking about. For example, if the secondary dump known as Unrivaled, which at this point, Unrivaled is the minor league of pretend basketball. Hell, if you don't believe me, check out this minor league athleticism from Kelsey the Plumber. I guess in minor league pretend basketball, they don't call traveling. It's like my 6-year-old nephew's basketball league. Dribbling is not required. Anyway, if Unrivaled managed to achieve the impossible by drawing 200,000 viewers on TNT, that would be celebrated by the media as a resounding success. If the New York Knicks drew 200,000 on MSG in Manhattan, it would be a colossal failure. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that ratings for the Super Bowl were in the pooper. Obviously, that is not the case, but I'm also not going to lie to you like the media and claim these ratings are super. For starters, these ratings are a bit misleading, at least when comparing them to Super Bowls from the past, because this year, the NFL was given the benefit of Nielsen's new rating system. For most programs, Nielsen's new system has been great. Networks like ESPN, they have seen drastic increases in their ratings. The NBA, the NHL, they've also seen increases in their ratings. Hell, the only leagues Nielsen's new system has not benefited is Unrivaled and the WWE. Somehow, even with the benefit of the new system, their ratings are still circling the pooper. Supposedly, this new system from Nielsen, it is significantly more accurate. Out-of-home viewership is now included. I believe streaming numbers are also included, along with people watching later on DVR. But if Super Bowl ratings were compiled using the old system, instead of a 2% decline, it is estimated that the 2026 Super Bowl would have been down between 8 and 10%. But to me, that's not the real story here. I think these ratings are the symptom to a much larger problem, because I think these ratings prove that the NFL as a league is on the decline. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Sinusol. Winter is here. Spring is right around the corner. If you're anything like me, this is the time of year when your allergies are the most active. Normally, I would take daily medications like Claritin to help with allergies, but this year, I have been using Sinusol Breathe Easy nasal spray. Sinusol Breathe Easy is a low-cost nasal spray that provides relief from chronic issues and symptoms caused by allergies and infections. Now, you're probably wondering, how is this any better than what I buy at CVS or Walgreens? Most of the nasal sprays at CVS or Walgreens, they include steroids, which you really don't need. Sinusol Breathe Easy is steroid-free and medication-free. They use a holistic approach, which includes a unique combination of plant-based ingredients and essential oils. If you struggle with congestion, postnasal drip, coughing, sneezing, or if you're like me, and you're constantly dealing with sinus headaches, Sinusol Breathe Easy is the nasal spray that you need. So click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. Use my promo code BTL25, BTL25. Receive 25% off your first purchase with Sinusol. Normally, viewership for the Super Bowl experiences an increase at halftime, mainly because that's when America's women are paying the most attention. Most women, they don't really give a shit about the actual game. They're watching the Super Bowl for the commercials, the celebrity cameos, and to see the latest doofus the NFL hired to perform at halftime. You know, when I was in college, the Super Bowl was considered controversial because Justin Timberlake exposed Janet Jackson to the world. At the time, parents were outraged. They were calling CBS pissed off with this injustice. How dare you allow my child to see his first bosom? This year, the NFL promised parents of young children that they had nothing to worry about. There would be no cleavage at halftime of the Super Bowl this year because the NFL invited a naughty bunny to sedate the audience with anti-American garbage. As a result, instead of viewership increasing during halftime, the NFL actually saw a massive decrease. Check it out for yourself. Yesterday, I showed you guys how 39% of American households told Bad Booger to get off my TV. But in terms of individual viewers, the NFL lost around 12% of its audience while Bad Bunny was shaking his tail feather. Now, the media, they are trying to downplay this. Earlier this morning, I saw Keith Olbermann, KDP! Earlier this morning, I saw this rapidly aging fossil claiming that it's abundantly clear that the feminine bunny is way more popular than that kid in his rock. Listen up, you MAGA peasants. America belongs to us now. Private Pooh can downplay this all he wants, but I guarantee you, Turning Point USA has the NFL's undivided attention. And not just Turning Point, I promise you that America has Uncle Roger's undivided attention. Bad Booger lost a higher percentage of the Super Bowl audience than every other halftime performer in the history of the Super Bowl. Remember yesterday how I was telling you guys about make goods? For those that don't know, and just to be clear, I don't know if this is exactly how it works with an event as big as the Super Bowl, but in most cases, when advertisers purchase airtime on a program, they are guaranteed a minimal number of viewers. When my marketing agent is negotiating with sponsors for this channel, he guarantees them a minimal number of viewers will see their live reads. If I fail to meet that number, I give them a make good, which is essentially a freebie. I run another live read in a future video free of charge. That is a basic understanding of how it works. With the new Nielsen rating system, I would imagine that the ad sales department at NBC was expecting a 3, maybe 4% increase in viewership for the Super Bowl. Instead, they got a 2% decrease. And if you calculate the ratings based on the old method, it was an 8, 9, maybe 10% decrease. It's estimated that that decrease equates to $120 million in lost ad revenue. Do you understand now why I said you have Uncle Roger's undivided attention? Again, I think these ratings are the symptom to a much larger problem for the NFL. And this problem has nothing to do with Bad Booger. The real problem for the league, the NFL product, is on the decline. And it's starting to show in the numbers. For decades, The NFL was immune to relying on matchups to draw an audience. In the NBA, the networks request certain teams, certain star players. The New Orleans Pelicans, they have 0 nationally televised games this season. Why? Because no one wants to watch this flaming ass fire of a franchise. The WNBA is heavily reliant on Caitlin Clark to draw an audience. When the schedule is released and the networks are picking games, ESPN's not asking for the LA Sparkles. They're not clamoring for Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado. ESPN wants Caitlin Clark and no one else. Major League Baseball, it's the Yankees, Red Sox, Cubs, Dodgers. But with the NFL, it's never mattered. You could put the Browns and the Falcons on Thursday Night Football. You can bury the game on NFL Network, and the league would still draw 10, 12 million viewers. One of the reasons the NFL wasn't heavily reliant on matchups, historically, there were enough teams throughout the league with star quarterbacks. Even mid-tier quarterbacks, guys like Tony Romo, Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford in Detroit, they were good enough to make the game compelling. They were stars. Today, there are very few star quarterbacks in the NFL. There are very few quarterbacks who are must-see TV. Hell, most of these quarterbacks are get off my TV. They're unwatchable. And we saw a prime example of this lack of star power in the Super Bowl. Think about it. What was the biggest storyline going into the Super Bowl last week? I can't think of a single storyline going into the game. The only thing people were talking about last week was Bad Booger. Sam Darnold, he is a compelling story of redemption. No one cared. Drake May is a second-year quarterback who made the Super Bowl. No one cared. I think one of the reasons we didn't have storylines going into the Super Bowl, the media refused to create them. Now, me personally, I think the lack of interest from the mainstream media was due to the fact that both head coaches and both quarterbacks were the white man. But either way, America seems to be losing a little bit of interest in the NFL. And it's not hard to understand why. The product on the field is the drizzling shits. These Super Bowl ratings are a clear message. It's the first time America has sent a clear message to the NFL since Colleen Kaepernick kneeled for the national anthem. And I think this carries over into next season. Like I told you guys the other day, there is a perfect storm brewing right now in the NFL. The league is embracing the woke wiener. The league is doubling down on diversity. The product on the field is declining, and it is getting significantly worse every season. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.